Welcome to the channel. I'm Katie and I sell part-time on eBay and Poshmark, and it's time for a what sold video. We're talking what sold in my eBay and Posh business from January this week, January 20th through, as of filming it today, yesterday, the 26th. I had 19 total sales across eBay, 4 Poshmark sales, and 1 local Facebook Marketplace sales that we're going to talk about. My total item sales amount was $627.58. I do charge shipping on top of the items on eBay, but I don't include that because generally I don't make any money. Sometimes I'll make $1 or lose a few dollars, and if I do, I will let you know in the video. My total cost of goods was a bit high. Several items you're gonna notice I paid up for. $154.08 on the cost of goods. My total profit after I got my cost of goods returned to me and I paid the platforms all their fees was $358.45, which is pretty good for me for a week. My average sales price came to $33.03, so I'm really happy with that. I am promoting my eBay store at 3% still, and I had 6 promoted sales out of the 14 eBay sales that I had. I will say, with having my store promoted, I think that the offers that I've been getting have been higher on the promoted listings rather than when I run sales and things like that. Like if I run a 15% off sale, it seems like I get offers that people want like an additional 20-25% off of that. And with just running promoted, I have been seeing that my offers have been higher. So for me, that's worth noting. Let's get into the sales. My first sale was on eBay for the week. I did not have any sales the first day of my sales week, which was the 20th, a Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I was concerned that I was like in timeout from eBay, but then I did make a sale. I sold this We the Free shirt. It's a size extra large, oversized, blue button down. It's actually a button up because it doesn't have the buttons at the collars, but I've seen it both ways on eBay. It was tunic length. It did have a small flaw to it at the upper chest, like just the littlest glossy type blemish to it, not a hole. I had it listed for $35 and someone came out and they paid $35 for it. I had $6.99 into this, and I did have this in a thrift haul a couple of weeks ago. I didn't list it for maybe a week and a half, and then when I did, it sold in 2 days. I made $22.08 off of that, and it was not promoted because I am not promoting items that I've listed in the last 2 weeks to try to give them a chance to sell on their own. Great sale. Next up was a Poshmark sale. So I sold this Lululemon women's size 12 train to be short sleeve shirt. I got this at a consignment store. It was their half price color, and I still ended up paying $15.26 for it with tax. At the consignment stores, they do charge tax on top of the items. So I had it listed for $45. It retailed for $68, and it was just a really cute shirt, so I picked it up and new with tags. I wanted to see how it would do. The other new with tags Lululemon that I picked up a couple weeks ago sold really quickly also. So if you can pick up some new with tags Lululemon, I think it's gonna perform better. I got an offer on Posh for $38 and I accepted. They take their 20% fee, which I have noticed is pretty heavy, but with the ease of the shipping, it seemed worth it. It was really easy to ship all of these Poshmark items. I made $15.14 in 32 days. So basically doubling my money, really happy with it. It was an easy listing being new with tags. Next up, I had a Sundance item sell on eBay. It's a women's size XL, 100% cotton, eyelet, short sleeve, pop over. It's a button down. Sundance is no longer in business. I think it was an online catalog store, which is very expensive. This shirt was probably around $125 to $150. I had it listed for $40 and I sent out a 10% off offer. Lately, I've been sending out 10%. Normally, I would be sending 15 to 20, but with my items being promoted, I'm just sending out a 10% off. They accepted for $36. I ended up making $22.06 off of that. It was a promoted item, so I paid $1.25 in fees, $1.25, I should say. 127 days. I bought this, I think, at the end of summer when I was picking up a lot of linen and cotton, and it did sit a while, but $36 is pretty good. Back over to Poshmark, I sold a pair of Crocs. I picked these up during my kids' winter break. I ran into Goodwill really quickly looking for some winter items because we were hoping to go to the snow. I was looking for snow boots for my 6-year-old, and I just went through the shoes really quickly. I was in there for about 5 minutes, and I found this pair of Crocs in new, unworn condition. I paid $6.99 for them. They're the Sloan Glitter Sparkle Platform Wedge, and they performed really well. I had them listed for $40, and somebody on Posh paid $40 for them. I had them also listed on eBay, but I think it was probably better for the buyer because they pay the flat $6.49 shipping, whereas depending on where they were going to be shipped, which was Florida, they were probably going to be close to $12 on eBay. So I think this buyer maybe saw them on eBay and then came over to Poshmark and bought them. This is a really great style, and if you find them, I would say pick them up if you can get them for a good price. Next, on Poshmark again, I sold a packed organic dress. This was in a thrift haul last month. It's the Coastal Double Gauze sundress in yellow gold. It was in really good condition. It had a couple of like tiny pen marks on the interior of the dress, which I only noticed because I examine all of my things very carefully. Probably, it takes a long time. So I put a lot of time into my items, but I want people to know exactly what they're going to get. So there were a couple of dots on the interior that I explained in the description. I had it listed on eBay and Posh for $40. Somebody on Poshmark came out and they paid the $40 for the dress, which we love. I had $7.99 into this from Goodwill, which I thought was a good price. Packed is a quick seller on eBay and apparently Posh too. People are looking for these organic, sustainable items. This one was it organic cotton? It was 100% cotton. So it'll be great for the spring, and it went to Arizona. Next up was an item that I paid too much for and didn't sell for a lot. So this was a learning experience. It's a men's size large, tall, and it had down in it. It's a vest. It did have some feathering exposed at the seams and at the 650, yeah, the 650 mark at the bottom. The stitching was coming undone on one of the zeros, or on the zero a little bit. So I made sure to disclose that. I had it listed for $40. I thought these would do a lot better on eBay, and I didn't comp it when I was in the store. I picked this up when thrifting was pretty slow in the late fall. So I probably wouldn't pick it up again. I paid $12.99 for it. I ended up getting an offer on it for $27.63, which I decided to accept because I had it for 134 days, which isn't terrible, but since we're coming to the end of winter in terms of eBay buying, I decided to let it go. So I made a $9.02 on this vest, and hopefully they like it. It's not in perfect condition, and I made sure to put that in the description. Men's items generally do well for me, knock on wood. I have not had any men's items returned to me before. Next up is a Cacique bra. This is also on eBay. It's a size 40G, and it was new with tags. I thought it was really cute. I picked it up back in August at Goodwill's 50% off sale that I ended up taking my kids to because we didn't really thrift all summer. So I said, you guys, we're going to this 50% off sale just for an hour. We loaded up on a bunch of goodies. So I only paid $2.50 for this bra. I had it listed at $30. It did have a couple of small blemishes on the exterior when you looked closely at it, just like a couple, not runs, but just maybe like a scuff mark or two. So I had new with imperfections. I got an offer for $20, which I countered at $25. and they came back at 22. And because of my low cost of goods, I decided to accept it. It was wireless comfort. Cacique is the intimates line from Lane Bryant, I believe. This was $49 is the MSRP on it. So I was happy to take 22. I ended up making, I think it was promoted. No, it wasn't promoted. So I ended up making $15.30 in 170 days. There's several items coming up that are over 400 days. So the older items we're selling this week, which I find interesting. This is one of them, I think. This is a Uniqlo set. And like I've said before with Uniqlo, they are considered a fast fashion brand because they follow the trends of fashion and come out with like new releases frequently. But the difference between them and other fast fashion is on a lot of their items, they use quality materials. So with this set, I found this at Goodwill. I don't think that they actually were a set, but they were together. It was an emerald green tank top and pull-on skirt. I thought that they would be adorable for St. Patrick's Day. I picked them up last year, right before St. Patrick's Day, like March 9th, I think. And so I didn't get them up in time. I think they sold around this time of year, probably for St. Patrick's Day. Embroidered cotton top and pull-on skirt, adorable. I had it listed at $34.95, and somebody came out and they paid $34.95. It did sell promoted, so I paid $1.37 in fees, but I think that was worth it because the promotion, I think, helped to find this specific buyer. I made $22.11 in 316 days, so I almost had them for an entire year. Next up is a weave-free Maggie cropped ankle jean. It had like a shark bite hem. I ended up buying these for myself at Goodwill for $8.99, and I did wear them a couple of times. They were just a little too big for me, so I decided to list them. I had them at $34.95. I got no interest in them for a long time. My buyer offered $20 a couple times and I countered at $25. The offers ran out a couple of times and then they ended up sending me a $25 offer. So I accepted that, and this did sell promoted, so I paid $1.07. I made $10.08, which isn't great, but it was something that I had purchased for me to wear, but I did have my receipt, so I was able to incorporate it into my business because I have proof that I paid $8.99 for them. I had these listed for 465 days. So after a few of these later, like longer tail sales, I decided if there's a 4 in front of it, I'm probably going to accept it because we want to clear out the older items to make room for all of the new amazing items that I've been picking up lately. Next up is a fresh produce dress. This one was another mistake buy on my part. I picked this up in my first couple weeks of reselling in 2024. I paid $7.99 for it. They do retail anywhere from $65 to $80. They are sort of a beachy type brand. They use organic materials. This one had a nice mineral type wash to it, so I thought it might do better. It did have a flaw though to it. One of the pockets, the stitching at the bottom had come undone, so your hand went right through the pocket, but not through the dress. So I made sure to put lots of pictures of that, and I ended up getting an offer for $16. I had it listed for $24.95. So I decided I was going to accept that because, like I said, I had this for 480 days, which is one of my longest items ever. I made $4.55 off of this item, but I also get my $7.99 back to put into some better items in the future. Happy to see it go. The next item I sold was a pair of jeans. This is the second pair of this style that I have sold. I bought these in a size 26 and a size 27. I got these at the standard price thrift store that I go to. They were running a sale on pants that day, so I ended up paying $6.29. The price on pants at the time was $6.99. So I got a really good deal on these. They were new with tags. The retail on them was like $228. I think they might be a boutique in New York City. The brand is 3x1 NYC. These were the split bell seam jeans, really cute, in a size 27. My buyer came to me several times with like 30, 35, and I countered at 50 every time because I had sold this pair in the size 26 for $60. So I knew that I could wait longer and get 60, or I was willing to let them go for 50. Eventually the buyer did accept my $50 counter offer. They were new with tags. These ones, I think, were also going to New York, and I made $35.05 in 270 days, not promoted. So someone was looking for these jeans, which is great. Another Sundance piece sold. This skirt I have had forever. I say now that if I end up in the skirt section, that means the thrifting has been rough, because I was picking up skirts at the beginning of learning how to resell, and they sat. I got an offer for $25 on this skirt. I had it listed for $32.99. I accepted quickly because I have had this skirt for 467 days. After I accepted the offer, I realized that I had discounted shipping on this skirt. I charged the buyer $4.99. Probably a year ago, I decided I would mess around with my shipping, maybe to entice buyers to purchase my items, hopefully at the full price. I lowered the price on shipping because I know that nobody really wants to pay shipping at all. Everyone wants free shipping. So I ended up losing $4 on this skirt for shipping, but I'm still happy to see it go. After all was said and done on that, this was purchased, not promoted. Also, I made $9.61. So that was really good. It was a midi skirt, like a faux wrap, really cute. I'm surprised it took this long. 2 Sundance items in a week. So maybe be on the lookout for some Sundance. And yeah, let's move on to the next sale. I had a Facebook Marketplace sale. So I picked up a pair of Hokas. I'm going to pop up the picture here. I picked these up from Goodwill for $24.99 last week. I didn't end up showing you these in a thrift haul because I just picked up a couple items at Goodwill that day, and they were pretty dirty, but I knew that I could clean them up because the tread on them was really good. And the colorway of black and white seems to be more desirable. So I cleaned them up. I scrubbed them with a toothbrush. I washed them in the wash, and I used a magic eraser on them, cleaned them up really nicely, and had them listed on Facebook Marketplace for $60. I ended up getting a buyer for $60 in 7 days. So I made $35.01 off of those. I really like picking up Hokas. They sell really well locally in my area. I know that they sell well on eBay also. You just might not be able to get as high of a sales price because people are considering, the shipping that they're going to have to pay on top of it. My next sale was, what was it? It was a pair of tank tops, but I don't have that up here. No, I did. I skipped it. So I picked up these tail activewear tank tops at a bag sale that my husband and I went to at my local consignment store over the summer. There was a fill a bag sale for $40, and we ended up getting 39 items, 38 or 39 items in the bag to resell. So my price per item was $1.08. I have $2.16 into these tank tops. I lotted them together, and they were the same size and the same style. So I put them for $30. I sent out a 10% off offer for $27, and my buyer accepted. I did sell this promoted, so I paid $1.04 in fees on that. And then with all the other fees, I ended up making $19.04 in 152 days. The bag sale items are slowly selling. I don't think I've sold one in like at least a month, so I was happy to see these ones go. Does anyone recognize this sweater? This is the third time that this Peruvian Connection sweater has sold. Hopefully this is the last, knock on wood. So this is 100% alpaca. It is beautiful. The last time I had it returned, I decided I was going to redo the listing completely. I reprocessed it, I rephotographed it, measured it, did the listing again because it had been returned twice for fit. And I thought there must be something going on that my buyers are not understanding about this sweater. So I made sure to just put on in all the details that I could, make sure to look at the measurements, please. I had it listed for $50. The first time I sold it, I got $37. The second time I sold it, I got $40. And this third time that I sold it, I got $43, which is pretty great. It did sell promoted. So I don't have what I paid in here, but it was probably around $1.50. I had $8.99 into this sweater that I picked up over probably close to 500 days ago, but it has sold 3 times in 500 days. The most recently, it was listed for 40 days. I ended up making $26.32 after all was said and done. We hope this is gone. It is such a nice sweater, so I hope that the buyer likes it and they keep it. Next up is a Lululemon's men's t-shirt. This I picked up at Goodwill. It was a half price tag, so it was $2.50. And the reason that it was $4.99 to begin with is because I don't think they knew it was Lululemon. It had no interior tags, no sizing. It only had this little Lululemon logo on the back left. I researched it when I got home and found out that it was called the 5-year basic V-neck performance tee. I took measurements and compared those with the measurements for Lululemon online. I made sure to put that in the description so that my buyer could see exactly, they could see everything that was going on. Anyway, I had it listed for $19.95 for a really long time, and I got an offer for $15. So I was happy to accept that. I made $9.27 in 202 days. So pretty good. $9, yeah. That cost of goods is pretty good. I should probably only pick up Lululemon for cheap now, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for it. This next sale, I probably shouldn't have picked up. No, I shouldn't have. I keep going back and forth. Okay, so it's a Nike pair of shorts. They're a men's XXL dry fit short. They're unlined, and I paid $4.50 for these, and that was the half price that Goodwill was asking for them. I should not have picked them up. They're really nothing special. But I think it's important to note that you still can make money off of Nike. Maybe you shop at the bins and you can pick this up for they were 6 ounces, I think. So maybe you could pick them up for 50 cents and it would be worth the $13 that I got for it. I had them listed for $16.95 and I got an offer for $13. So you can make a profit there if you are paying a little bit for them. I paid too much for them, and I can't believe that Goodwill wanted $9 for them. That is just, it's actually crazy to me now. I had them listed for 394 days. I made $6.12, and I got my $4.50 back, and we're moving on, and we're not looking back. 2 more sales. So I had another skirt sale. This Aritzia Babaton Jethro mini skirt with a faux twist in the front was adorable, and I picked it up the same day that I picked up that Sundance skirt. So it's really interesting that they sold basically back-to-back days in this sales week. So that's interesting that eBay is pushing out these certain listings to buyers, maybe because they're promoted. I had it listed for $34.95 and I paid $6.99 for it. Mine is listed on the lower side on Poshmark and eBay. I actually only had this listed on eBay. I see skirts like this one for $60, $70. Some of them are around $30. Mine look to be in better condition than those. I ended up getting an offer for $25, and because I had it for 469 days, I said, yes, you can have it. Even though I probably could wait another couple years for $35, I'm letting it go. I did sell this promoted, so I paid 94 cents in promoted fees. With other fees included, I made $12.68. And it was a really cute skirt and easy to list, but I just don't know that skirts are something that I sell very well, so I probably shouldn't pick them up outside of the activewear section, unless they're like really special. My last sale for the week came from Poshmark, and they are a pair of Papilio Mary wedge strap sandals, and I picked these up last week. I showed them to you in a thrift haul, and I paid $7.99 for these, which I forgot to say in my video, but I got them from the standard price thrift store where the shoes are $7.99. So I paid $7.99. I had them listed for $65 on eBay and Poshmark. I got a couple of offers for $35 on Poshmark that I countered, and unsuccessfully, those didn't go through. I ended up getting an offer for $55 on these, and I accepted. I didn't clean these up. I had told you guys that there were scuffing, but they were in really good condition, but there was scuffing on the exterior that I wasn't gonna try to fix because I didn't want to mess it up. I have since learned in the comments that there are some things that I can buy to hopefully easily fix up leather, so I think I'm gonna try to do that next time, but these ones sold quick. I ended up making, how much did I end up making? I made $36.01 in 11 days of them being listed on Poshmark, which is fantastic. Actually, it was probably less than that because I don't think I listed these for a few days after I listed them on eBay. So probably around a week on Poshmark. This style sells really well. They are made by Birkenstock, but it didn't say Birkenstock anywhere on it, so I didn't include that in my listing. Hopefully the buyer loves them. I paid my 20%. Happy to do it. Those are my sales for the week. Hopefully I didn't keep you too long. I get very chatty in these because I love talking reselling. In the comments, do you like these longer chatty what solds, or do you like just knowing how much I made, what I sold? Please let me know. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you next time.